We are sponsored by Soho Bistro and Lounge.
Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Talk About It with Sam, where we discuss today's current events, life, health, wealth, and lifestyle. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more content. We have so much more to come. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of Talk About It with Sam. Today, I am going to be diving deep into a conversation with my new friend, Cantel Weaver. Cantel is originally from Boston and recently was, what is it? What were you doing? You like out of prison?
Yeah, I was doing a life sentence at first, and then the laws changed in Massachusetts, so they dropped it, and I was able to see parole in 2019 and got out in 2022.
Okay, so you were recently released from prison.
Yeah,
Cantel spent 19 years in prison for murder, and we're going to kind of dive a little bit deep into that because since being released from prison, he has completely changed his life, but that actually started in prison, correct?
yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So let's talk about kind of like what got you into prison in the first place.
So I'm originally from Boston, Roxbury to be exact, and with Boston, like the gang culture is just like it's prevalent out there, so it's not hard to get like caught up in the streets. And so, at the age of like 13, 14, I ended up starting my own little gang with the neighborhood that I lived in at the time. And we was just doing the regular things that young street punks do, stealing, robbing, and all of that. And it eventually led me to killing somebody. I ended up killing somebody over something as minor as a bicycle. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of them situations that could have been resolved with a conversation. But at that time, it's like, you young, you're dealing with ego, you're dealing with pride, this all for one for all mentality, mob mentality that juveniles think, that just juveniles are like stuck with. And yeah, I fell into that. And so I ended up killing this kid and then got sentenced to life at the age of 18. And I was upstate with a life sentence at the age of 18.
Wow. Wow. So let's talk about how prison affected you in positive aspects because you did a lot while you were in prison. You educated yourself very much. You even got yourself a degree.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
gotta
instead of kind of like falling into the system, I want to talk about like what led you to make decisions to go back to school while you were there and to really change your life.
it didn't start out like that.
Okay. Yeah.
It took me like a good no bullshit. Like I got up there like 2006, and then that law changed in like 2013, and I was in DDU, which is like prison inside of prison. For it's like solitary confinement, pretty much 23 and one, and a bunch of other like inhumane stuff. But I was in DDU when that law changed for stabbing somebody, and so it was at that point that I was like, when I seen the actual paper, like, yo, your sentence is changed, is being dropped. You see parole in 2019. I'm like, damn, I'm looking at it like, yo, I done dug myself in such a deep hole already. Like, how the hell do I get out of it? But then at the same time, I'm looking at it like, well, I got like my mother and my sister that been holding me down and making sure I was straight, like throughout that whole process of me being stuck in there. So I'm like, yo, I gotta at least try to do everything in my power to get out. Even if I'm not successful, I can at least say I tried. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. I just, as soon as I got out of DDU and I went back to Shirley Max, I just started doing I got a job first. That was the main thing. It's like I gotta find things to do to keep me away from the crowd that I kept myself around. Because I'm like, I know if I'm around this crowd every day, all day, I'm gonna keep getting in this shit.
Mhm.
So it was like me changing my attitude and then finding a job, and then the job kept me away from dudes for half the day, and then the other half, I'm like, all right, let me find a program to get into. And so I was doing it like that, and I eventually, when I got out of DDU, the caseworker was like, yo, if you stay out of trouble for a year, we'll send you to a medium. Stayed out of trouble for a year, like, which seemed impossible at that time. If you've been up there, like, dudes just know like it's hard as hell to stay out of trouble for a year up there. So I ended up getting to the medium. And once I got to a medium, I was able to like lock in and like do programming and be more receptive towards what was being taught, like and doing things like restorative justice or transforming anger through nonviolence or being involved in like the needs program, which is like you train service dogs for like people with disabilities and things like that. That's when I started doing all of that when I got to the medium. And yeah, and that's when I signed up for school too. And Tufts wasn't one of them things that I felt like I was even like a good candidate for, because I don't come from a good product of like I don't come from like an environment where I seen like a product of education. Like I don't know anybody personally whose fault is a doctor or whose fault is a lawyer. Like,
Yeah.
nah, like I don't even know dudes that grew up with their fathers like that. Like that's rare. Like it's a small percentage of people. So it's like seeing the example of a grown black man that's established, like, and like it was hard. It was hard. So it's like I didn't think it was possible. So I don't know. Yeah.
Wow, that's so dope. That's really dope. I think for me, the best part, I thought I was gonna hear something along the lines of like you had a mentor like while you was in prison, or somebody like really coached you into wanting to make changes. And but knowing that you did that on your own and that you did that yourself, you said, no, I made mistakes. Like that takes a lot of accountability. And you should feel a lot of pride for that.
Yeah. And that's kind of like part of the process is like when you start doing good, then the people who are on like that same path as you, then
Hmm.
they start coming into you, like, when the student's ready to teach up here. And then that's
Yeah,
when I started getting to people like Mac Hudson, like Shakur or Haitian Jack, like all of these older dudes. I was like, yo, stay the course. You on the right path. And like they encouraging me to do that shit, to do the things that are like more like conducive to my success. So it's like it's a little bit different now. The people I'm keeping myself around, like the people in the class that I was with, it was like that too. When that class first started, it was like weird because it's like this is our first experience with like higher education in prison, but then you got to think of how prison is. Like it's just mad segregated. It's like white people over here, Spanish over here, blood over here, Crip, Boston, Brockton, GD, like all it's so sex. So when we get in the classroom is like a reflection of that. Everybody's staying away from each other and we just like we not connecting with one another. But then like after a while it becomes like, oh well, I'm good at writing, but I ain't good at math. And Junie know how to do math, or
yeah,
Nate know how to do math, and Nate's an openly gay man, so I'm not supposed to be talking to him, but he good at like he
yeah,
good at math, and I need help with this shit. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like things like that, and then you become more vulnerable in those situations, and then that's how you're able to build that camaraderie, that friendship. And it like changes like the culture in there, like the classroom in itself changed the culture because we went from being a bunch of dudes that was like standoffish towards each other to like, all right, hold on, we can probably help each other in this situation. And then in that process, you start to learn more about the individual because it's like it's a vulnerable space. Like the way we do class in there, it's like based in like restorative justice practices. So we sitting in a circle and then we building like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not the teacher standing in front of the room and just talking at us. It's like, nah, it's a discussion being had. So the style of teaching is different. And that may be like help the process a little bit too. So yeah.
that's beautiful. It taught you guys community, is what it did.
Yeah.
It
Hell
brought
yeah.
you guys together. It taught you about connection. It taught you about community. It taught you that all that segregation and gang violence is it's made up. Like
Yeah.
none of that is real. Like everybody just decided one day, like I own this street, you can't come here. But in reality, for what? Like it
Yeah.
was a void that needed to be filled. Like everybody kind of just found their own way to kind of protect what they thought was theirs instead of bringing everything together. I
Yeah.
mean, I know obviously it's a beautiful story because look at where you're at now. But like hearing like where you came from and then where you're at now and kind of how you learned these things is beautiful. So many kids need to hear that because they fall into that like tough guy role. But in reality, we all need is love. That's literally
Yeah.
what we all need. And like a lot of kids don't understand that when they come from broken homes and they don't have the tools that they need to succeed. So that's kind of like one of the biggest things on my podcast. It's all about like mental health and how you can find different resources and you can give people the appropriate tools that they need to succeed to survive. Um,
And
and
it's
you,
crazy because I was with this kid the other day. The kid was asking me, he was like, yo, if you could change, because I go inside DYSs and stuff like that. But the kid was asking me, like, yo, if you could change anything about your past, would you change it? And I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Because the cliche answer is like, nah, I wouldn't change anything and all that. But I'm not, nah, bro, I don't subscribe to that. If I could change all of this, I would change it because I know it's a lot of different, it's a lot more better choices that I could have made. So why wouldn't I change that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
mhm.
he's like, yo, but you wouldn't be here now. But I'm like, yo, but I could have been a better example for you if I was out and leading a different path. And in the same way, I'm like, yo, I didn't grow up seeing like a version of a lawyer or a doc. Like I could have been that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Talk to me. But I think like, so what you trying to say? Like, you wouldn't have like learned everything that you learned to get you there
Yeah,
this far?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. Like, you could have done a lot of the same things. You could have just taken like a different approach to it if you didn't have
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I
to.
could have been up right now.
Yeah, yeah,
37, house owner, homeowner, business owner. Like, come on.
yeah,
Like, I could have been it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that I still can't be that, but I could have been there now.
yeah. And that's okay though, right? Like, are you cool with like the time frame of like continuing to work on those things? Like, you might not reach some of those goals until you're 40, 45. And that's
That's
not me
cool.
projecting like whatever. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
It's just me respecting the process. It's like, just respecting the process and like, and recognizing that I got to give myself grace for one, because I'm playing from behind. But then at the same time, I'm playing from behind, and then I'm coming out after 19 years, and I got a lot of people beat. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like that, and then on top of it, I just got to give myself grace. Like, it's okay if I haven't reached like certain accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Comparison is the thief of joy, like they say. It's like sometimes I see other people that are saying, and I'm like, damn, man, I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
But it's like I gotta like get rid of those thoughts and not even like be on it like that. Just like be focusing on self type shit.
100%. And it's like you've already come so far. Like, a lot of people get sentenced to murder and do life, they do life. Like, you went,
Yeah,
did what you needed to when you got out. But you earned yourself a degree, you made a ton of friends, you had mentors, and now you're doing the same thing for other people. So it's like 19 years is a long time. And I'm sure that it wasn't all good, but you did learn so many things from that. And I was
yeah,
gonna say the same thing that you said. In a lot of senses, you're already ahead of a lot of people. You're already doing a lot of things. You're giving back to the community. You're teaching people. You're continuously educating yourself. Like, at no point did you come out and just give up or turn back to the streets. Like, you're full throttle, like still living like this positive life, and you have so many things that you can teach other people. Like,
yeah.
that's ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest misconception is that it's like it was easy. Like, oh, it was easy to do it. I like, nah, hell no. Hell no. I've been in situations where I'm like, this could like possibly like fuck up a role. Or it could like, you know what I'm saying? Situations that could have extended my stay there. And it was like luck happened. Luck happened, and then some of it was better decision making. Like, so it was a combination of both of them, but it wasn't it's shit. It would definitely wasn't easy getting as far as I got. Like, getting out is the hard part. You know what I'm saying? There's so much you have to go through, like mentally,
Mm-hmm.
um, logistically, like all of it. There's so much you have to go through along that process just to get out. And then once you get out, you just like you may have had like all these like grandiose ideas of what you wanted to do, and then life start lifing.
Yeah.
Smack you
Well,
in the face. You like, oh damn, this shit wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I'm
that was
seeing some
actually
people, yeah, I'm seeing some people that I know struggle like hard, like, and then some people, like they in the same lane that I'm on, like they handling it gracefully, but it's definitely not easy.
And also, my next question was going to be, how did it feel to come out of prison and have to like navigate through life? And like, was it weird for you? Like, was it like different? Like, even though you're able to create a community and you have all these people, when you get out into the real world, like, it's so big, and now you really have to navigate, and then you have to really pick up the pieces.
I was telling people, I'm like, y'all feel like a time traveler. Like, I
Yeah.
went in when it was like uh G Unit, 50 Cent, the Nokia phone, Snake Games, like all of that shit, Jabot jeans and tall t-shirts, and then I came out and it's like skinny jeans and smartphones and streaming services and Netflix. I'm like, yo, man, this is like it's overwhelming in a sense because you have
It
to
is.
like learn all of that, and then you got to learn all of it quickly. And one of the things I always say is like it's different for a person getting out after a long period of time like that, because it's like everything y'all learned like in your like late teenage years, everything you learned in your 20s, in your early 30s, it's like I'm getting out and I'm having to learn all that shit all at once. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I don't got like the luxury of having that 19 years of like trial and error. No, I learned all that shit now. and I mess up along the way. I'm making mistakes, and I'm like, damn, I gotta regroup because it's like a sink or swim situation. So it's like, yeah, I gotta learn it, and I gotta learn it quickly. So that's like that in itself is a mental thing. Like you gotta have like the mental fortitude to even be able to withstand that, and not everybody's built for it.
Yeah, that is so dope. What is like three keys of advice that you would give to kids that were in similar situations as yours? Kind of just like in the streets, like ready to just like lose it all for nothing.
Um, I think the main thing always being that like the world is like so much bigger than the 4 blocks you grew up on. And that was my thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Dennis Street, yeah, Huckins, like Winthrop, Moreland, like. But then it's like, yo, the world is like, I'm out now and I'm going to Lynn, Lowell, Lawrence, and Plymouth. It's like parts of Massachusetts, like we ain't even touched. But yet we thinking like we got to figure it out, or we know like what's out there, and like we not realizing how restricted or in prison that we are, like in this like state of mind that we in. So a lot of them kids, they ain't locked up, but they in prison in like a state of mind that's keeping them on a 3, 4 block radius, and they think like that's it. That's their word. Like that shit is whack, bro.
Hmm.
So that's the main thing I'm on with. Like that shit is whack, bro. There's so much more out there. And on top of it, it's just like, yo, prison is whack, bro.
Hmm.
Prison is whack. They not rapping about that. They not rapping about that aspect of it. And like what it's really like for you to not like you calling people and people not answering your phone calls, or you needing money and you ain't got money for canteen, and you hungry and your lock is empty, or you fucking going through some shit mentally and you ain't got nobody on the unit that you could talk to or vent to, nigga. So you going crazy internally. They ain't rapping about that type of, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they not seeing a real aspect of it. They seeing like a mainstream commercial side of it, where it's like, oh, I do a couple months in jail and I come home, that shit's on my. No, bro. Them people can keep you in there forever, bro. And you won't never watch Netflix again. You won't never you know what I'm saying? You won't never get to do any, you won't never get to touch a woman again. Like none of that shit, bro. And that's just whack, bro. That shit's whack. And so it's like the quicker like I get them to see, like I got a kid right now. He's like 14. That I don't like using mentoring, but I just advise him like, yo, what's up? How you doing? And I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, when I get out, I'm gonna get to this bag. I'm gonna get this. He's 14. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get to this bag, and like the only way I'm gonna be able to get this money if I build guns and sell them. I'm like, oh, you're gonna.
Wow.
He's in jail already. He's in jail for a gun, probably armed robbery. He don't want to say it, but I know it's armed robbery or some type of B&E or robbery, a gun and a stolen car. And he's like, yeah, when I come home, I'm gonna get to this bag, and the only way to get money is to build guns and sell them. He's 14. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
what the fuck? What, bro? He don't understand. They'll put you under the jail for that shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna sell unlicensed firearms? That's the like, yo, you bugging, bro. You bugging. And sometimes it might take him a little learn a long to longer to learn that like that ain't the way. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you gotta let people fuck up.
Yeah.
That's the harsh reality of it. That's a harsh reality. Because before he even got locked up, his mother's like, what can we do for him? I'm just like, yo, you gotta let him get locked up. He never been locked up before. You gotta let him see it's real. And then now he's in there, and he's like, this is his. He's in there. He's like, yo, this jail shit's whack. He's like, they're, he said they're taking stuff from us that is supposed to be complimentary. I'm like, I'm like, what? I'm like, what, bro? Like that? What are you talking about? He's like, nah, the gym and I'm like, you're in jail, bro. You're
Yeah.
in jail. You're in
But
jail,
that just
bro.
goes
None
to
of
show
that
you his
shit's
mentality. Like you got like that soft hard all at the same time. Like you have to pick a side.
crazy.
You get
He,
complimentary anything in jail.
bro, is delusional. Bro is delusional. I'm like, bro, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I talk to him. Hey, you crazy as fuck, bro. You bugging. Like you bugging. But that's part of it. That's part of it. Is having a person that is like able to speak to you like logically and walk you through it. Like a lot of us ain't have that.
Yeah,
A
definitely.
lot of us, yeah,
Wow.
word.
Well, so we're gonna have to get you on another podcast. The next podcast is gonna have to be more about like kind of like jail stories, good and
Uh,
bad. Because what you were just talking about, just
yeah,
I'm here and like I'm being super creative. Because what you just said was super important. A lot of people aren't talking about the stuff that you just said. Like, what is it like being in the hole? What is it like being in a mental prison already in prison? After you just said that, like
yeah,
it sparked something in me. Like I want to know. I like you don't have any of the resources that normal being like just like basic necessities of life, therapy, talk therapy.
yeah,
Like you're in
yeah,
prison already, and then they're gonna put you in the hole. You're there for 30 days. What is that like?
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
read? Like, what is it? What do you think about? Like, how do you meditate while you're there? Has anything ever happened to you? And
Mm.
now I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm gonna have some good questions for the next one.
Yeah, yeah. It's real though. It's real. It's real. Like even like throughout the whole process and doing the whole school shit to be able to focus on that, like inside an institution where there's so much shit going on. Because it's like we started out that program like 26 people, but 26 people didn't finish it. You know what I'm saying? Only
Yeah,
13 did. Half did, you know what I'm saying? Because it's in the prison where shit's real and people get into fights or people go home, people overturn their cases, go home and wrap their sentences up and things of that nature. So yeah, things like that happen along the way. So to be able to focus in that type of environment on like academics is like I applaud it, man, because I know how hard it is. You know what I'm saying? I know how hard it is.
yeah. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking this time with me. This was such an awesome conversation. I can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, you know that. Whenever, just
All
let me
right,
know.
sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We are sponsored by Soho Bistro and Lounge.